Ready.
Anthony and his friend James decided to put on a show. Stuck in the cheap seats, stuck in the cheap seats.
I'm Hollywood Tony P, and welcome to the Cheap Seats. Today we're going to look at a great classic movie in memory of a great legend, Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is about a small boy, Charlie, who lives with his 4 decrepit grandparents and his mother in a small shack. They're very poor and they have nothing. Willy Wonka, a great candy maker, decides to put 5 golden tickets in candy bars throughout the entire world, in hopes that children find them, and when they do, they can cash the golden tickets in for a trip and a escort through this magical candy factory. Eventually, the 5 golden tickets are found, the children go to the factory, and one by one, they meet an untimely end due to their own arrogance, their greed, and their simple selfishness. All narrated by a bunch of tiny freakish men known as Oompa Loompas. Let's look at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which it was originally called, now Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, in detail. Let's look at the golden tickets one by one before we get to the Chocolate Factory. First person to find a golden ticket is Augustus Gloop, a German fat boy.
Feel sorry for Wonka. It's gonna cost him a fortune in fat.
He eats and eats and eats and eventually finds a golden ticket. The funny thing is after he is interviewed, we see Slugworth right next to Augustus Gloop, apparently telling him that if he gives him the secret of the everlasting gobstopper, he will make his family rich. The second child to find a golden ticket is Veruca Salt. Her parents spoil her rotten, and the entire peanut factory is shelling chocolate bars.
They haven't shelled a peanut in there since Monday. They've been shelling flaming chocolate bars from dawn to dusk.
Some lady finds a golden ticket, and Veruca gets the ticket, and again, there is Slugworth, right by her ear.
Thank God for that.
The next golden ticket was found by Violet Beauregard.
I'm a gum chewer normally, but when I heard about these ticket things of Wonka's, I laid off the gum and switched to candy bars instead.
Her father, Sam Beauregard, is a car dealer who is a car dealer. And again, Slugworth is right by their side. Fast forward a couple months, people are going crazy trying to find golden tickets. The next one who finds a golden ticket is Mike TV. Yes, Mike TV. The father is apparently a gun nut, Trump supporter.
Wait till I get a real one. Colt 45. Pop won't let me have one yet, will you, Pop?
Not till you're 12, son.
And again, right by Mike, there he is. There is Slugworth. Again, something is fishy here. Something is going on with Slugworth. We'll get to that in a second. And the last golden ticket is found by Charlie Bucket. Actually, it's thought to be found by some Venezuelan oil millionaire, but that ticket was, of course, a fraud. Charlie Bucket finds some money on the side of the road and gets a candy bar and actually finds a golden ticket. And again, Slugworth is right there.
Mr. Wonka is at this moment working on a fantastic invention. The everlasting gobstopper.
And here is where our story begins. First, let's look at Charlie Bucket before we go into the Slugworth mystery. Charlie Bucket lives in a house with his 4 decrepit old grandparents. These 4 adults, these 4 grandparents, are stuck in their beds. They can't move, and they haven't moved in 20 years, as Grandpa Joe said. Which is very sad for Charlie's poor mother, who obviously has to bathe them, change their bedpans, wipe their asses. These old people are taking poor advantage of this young mother of Charlie, who has no other choice than to go work and do laundry all day. But the question is, then who's watching the old people? What if Grandpa Joe has to take a dump? Who's gonna clean his ass? Charlie? Probably. Charlie gets the golden ticket, comes home, and Grandpa Joe, out of the blue, stands up and starts dancing around. Why? Because he needed a golden ticket.
It's ours, Charlie.
It's mine, Grandpa. Grandpa Joe decided after all these years to finally stand up and finally do something with his sorry, worthless ass. So they all go to the factory, And Willy Wonka comes out. First, of course, as a cripple, because we all know how funny that is. And then when he's found to not be a cripple, everybody cheers. That's exciting, of course, because, you know, when you're a cripple, everybody has to stay silent and sullen. But when you're not a cripple, oh, cheers for everyone! Everybody comes into the factory, goes into the factory, and signs on the dotted line. Signs a contract to enter the factory.
Wait a minute, what's all that small print there at the bottom? Oh, if you have any problems, dial information. Thank you for calling.
First of all, let's look at Slugworth. Slugworth was there each and every time somebody found a golden ticket, which makes me think that Willy Wonka knew exactly where every single golden ticket was, because spoiler alert, Slugworth is Mr. Wilkinson. Slugworth is somebody that Willy Wonka decided to put as a test for all the children. How did Slugworth know that it was going to come up in Germany? How did Slugworth know that it was going to come up in America? How did Slugworth know that Charlie was going to find that bill in the ground and then go to the candy man to buy the chocolate? Well, how did he know? Because the candy man was also in on it. The candy man hid the chocolate bar from every single person.
Now that all the tickets have been found, I don't have to hide them anymore.
He hid the chocolate bar until he could find a child. And he only gives that chocolate bar to Charlie after. Not when Charlie goes in to buy a chocolate for himself. No. He gives Charlie the chocolate after Charlie decides, I'll buy one for my grandpa. All of a sudden, the Candyman says, this kid is selfish. This kid is a giver, and this kid deserves the last golden ticket. How did he know? Because he's working with Willy Wonka, who is working with Slugworth, who knows exactly where and when every single golden ticket will be found, will be used, and who they will find them for.
To get on, we have so much time and so little to do. Strike that. Reverse it.
So Willy Wonka, mastermind, did everything. Knew where the golden tickets were. Mastermind Slugworth, who was there, just happened to be there, and then brought the children into the candy factory. Now here's where it gets pretty ridiculous. Inside the candy factory, each of the children meet an untimely end.
Help. Police. Murder.
But this leads me to my next theory, that Willy Wonka is in fact Satan. Willy Wonka first, when Augustus Gloop falls into his chocolate river, doesn't do anything to throw him a life jacket, jump in to save the poor boy. He's more concerned about his chocolate.
The suspense is terrible.
He's gonna go this time.
I hope it'll last.
Go on, boy.
Next up, we lose another child because she eats gum that Willy Wonka told her not to eat.
Stop. Don't.
Why doesn't she listen to Mr. Wonka?
Because, Charlie, she's a nitwit.
And she chews the gum and turns into a giant blueberry.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
Oompa loompa doompity doo. She's a f***ing blueberry too. Turns into a giant blueberry, they roll it a pressing, and they're gonna have to squeeze.
Squeezing. She has to be squeezed immediately before she explodes.
Willy Wonka shows the kids gum. He knows that one of them is a gum chewer. He also has to know that she's going to take the gum and chew it. Again, he doesn't seem to care. All he wants to do is press the girl, squeeze her juice out.
Well. 2 naughty, nasty little children gone. 3 good, sweet little children left.
Yes, the next one is Violet Beauregard. Golden egg, the goose that lays the golden egg. Veruca goes down because she's a bad egg, apparently. A bad egg down the bad chute. And she wants the world. She wants the whole world. So she goes to the incinerator, as does her father. Again, another child murdered in the weird, wacky world of Willy Wonka.
There's going to be a lot of garbage today.
Now, while this is happening, Charlie and his grandfather, Grandpa Joe, are stealing fizzy lifting drinks and flying and floating into the ceiling. Which is very weird because Willy Wonka doesn't mention this till the end of the experience. Which is weird because every other child, when they die, right, it's instantly sung about by the Oompa Loompas. Charlie and, of course, his grandpa. Willy Wonka didn't notice that they were missing. Where were they? And where were no Oompa Loompa song? Obviously, Willy Wonka wanted Charlie and his grandpa to get chopped up by the fans in the ceiling. He wanted them to die a horrible death, and there are Oompa Loompas waiting to sing a song about it. Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo, chopped up in little bitty pieces are you. In the end, Mike TV gets transported, shrinks into a TV section. Now, Willy Wonka actually lets him get on this apparatus, okay? Willy Wonka actually acknowledges the fact that this kid is going to be diced up into a million pieces and then It could work, right? It might work. He doesn't care. He's Satan. He is evil. Only in the end does Charlie survive. Charlie survives, moves right on in, and where's my chocolate? Well,
You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
and Charlie, a selfless boy, gives up the thousands of dollars that he could have. He gives up all the money that he possibly could have had from giving the everlasting gobstopper to Slugworth.
So shines a good deed in a weary world.
And then, of course, Charlie wins, and we see that Mr. Wilkinson was, of course, Slugworth. And then, of course, Charlie gets to have the factory, gets everything he ever wanted, and gets to fly through the great glass Wonkavator through the ceiling, through the glass ceiling. And, of course, the least genuine moment of the entire movie.
But Charlie, don't forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he always wanted.
What happened?
He lived happily ever after.
So Charlie had to put up with about 12 years of his grandparents and having to be bathed and peeing in bedpans and crapping in bedpans, probably wiping his grandfather's ass from time to time. His mother working, he has to watch over his grandparents, not having any food, cabbage water. Charlie ate cabbage water. Cabbage water is a lot of gas, okay? So that little tiny room stunk. Smelled like urine, smelled like ass, smelled like Grandpa Joe, smelled like cabbage. Poor Charlie. He deserves everything and anything. But the point of this whole thing, the point of the last cheap seats ever, hopefully not, but the point of this is, 3. First of all, Willy Wonka and the Candyman were working together. The Candyman hid the last golden ticket to give it to one selfless child. Willy Wonka also knew where every single golden ticket would be found, and thus he sent Mr. Wilkinson, Slugworth, there to meet every kid exactly how it happened. How did he know? Because he's Willy Wonka. And what about these poor Oompa Loompas?
From Loompaland.
Loompaland? There's no such place.
Excuse me, dear
Mr.
lady.
Wonka, I am a teacher of geography.
Oh, well, then you know all about it. And what a terrible country it is. Nothing but desolate wastes and fierce beasts. And the poor little Oompa Loompas were so small and helpless, they would get gobbled up right and left. A wang doodle would eat 10 of them for breakfast and think nothing of it. And so I said, come and live with me in peace and safety, away from all the wang doodles and hornswogglers and snozwangers and rotten, vermicious knids.
But now they have to live in a chocolate factory. I wonder what their beds look like. I wonder what they eat. Do they eat candy all the time? I mean, is that what they eat? So anyway, Willy Wonka likes to make fun of cripples. Willy Wonka is a genius, knew who he was getting, and of course, the key to the entire saga is the Candyman, who went all over the world looking for the chocolate. Poor adults who were looking for the chocolate. Like, what if an adult had found the chocolate? Well, it wasn't going to happen. You know why? Because Willy Wonka knew exactly who was going to find it. How else is Mr. Wilkinson, Slugworth, going to be in the Veruca Salt's factory? He knows where every box is. He knows who has it. And how did he know the order in which they were going to go? How did he know who was going to find it next? Why? The Candyman working for Willy Wonka, giving it to Charlie, and now Charlie's grandparents can be helped by Oompa Loompas, and Oompa Loompas can wipe their ass, and Oompa Loompas can bathe them, and Oompa Loompas can feed them cabbage water. Wow! And Grandpa Joe can finally pull his own f***ing weight, that old-ass bastard who doesn't do a damn thing, lays in bed all day and smokes tobacco, while Charlie's mother has to bathe 4 old people, take care of their warts and their urine and their do laundry for other people, and still have time to cook cabbage water. That's a woman. Cheer up, Charlie. Your mother's really great, and your grandparents suck balls. I'm Hollywood Tony P. Thank you guys for joining us on the Cheap Seats. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Joyous Kwanzaa. Who gives a shit? Happy holiday. We'll see you guys next time. Maybe. On the Cheap Seats.
What was that? You saying something? What'd you say?